Well, look at me. I'm playing a restaurant manager, a wealthy young man whose father owns the hotel and the restaurant where I'm working. Used to be the place to be. And the film starts in a moment in which, the restaurant is not as great as it used to be. And then all of a sudden, this crazy chef turns up, whom I met in Paris because we worked together in a restaurant. But then it all became a bit of a mess because that chef, Adam, played by Bradley Cooper, um, ended up uh, on a bad path. So he disappears. But then he comes back and wants his third Michelin star and blackmails me, saying, "Listen, kid, I'm gonna help you making your restaurant, the Langham, the place to be again, and I'm gonna get my third star." And then I have to say yes. It's like a love-hatred relationship, and it turns out to be then eventually a love relationship. I mean, we really do like each other in the end. But there's another extra thing that again I can't tell. But probably the audience will know after a couple of minutes what the thing is with me and him, especially with me. I was very intrigued by it because I'm an owner of a restaurant myself. I opened a Spanish tapas restaurant in Berlin 4 years ago. Um, and so, and I became a foodie. I mean, I was a foodie before, but since I have this restaurant, I pay more attention to what I eat. And I'm very curious to find out new things and investigating all the time. I learned it from him and from another great guy working in Marcus Waring's restaurant, and they both said it's what was that image? Um, yeah, moving around the restaurant like a swan and pretend that everything is fine and being very quiet and polite, even though you may have like big problems inside and you have a mess back in the kitchen, which you can, of course, never show to the people, to your guests. But sometimes there is that, that inner conflict that it's in an hour it all goes wrong. The chef is a maniac. It's the dishes are not right, the food is not right, but still you go out there and say, "Hello, is everything fine?" Blah blah blah. So it's an extreme pressure, and that's what I could witness in these restaurants, especially in the Marcus Waring restaurant. It's about perfection, and it's so obsessive and it's so precise that if something goes wrong, like a little thing goes wrong, it's a huge catastrophe. They are really like soldiers, the guys working in the kitchen, and the pressure is extreme. So you have to be very passionate and very tough to survive in that business. And we're so lucky to have Marcus Waring on board, who is the supervisor, and he's always there. For all these kitchen scenes. Whenever we have a question, we can ask him. And so the food he has created dishes. He has created food for our film. So it all is very very authentic. It's very international. So we come from all these different countries, and it is like in the kitchens I've seen. So we have an Italian chef, Riccardo Scamaccio. We have a French one, Omar. English, an English chef with Sienna, Americans, German, Spanish. So it's all a mixed bunch, and it's a very good vibe, I have to say. I mean, we really get along with each other very well, and it's interesting to see. And to get in conversations with these guys, because you get to learn so much about different cultures, and we always speak in different languages, so it's pretty interesting. If there's good chemistry and things go well, then it's great. But well, you don't want to get into trouble. You don't want to do anything wrong, because being yelled at, insulted, screamed at by a chef, I mean, really you have to be tough. Yeah, and it's the working hours are crazy. It's always good for an actor if you know that you're in the hands of a guy like him, who has this incredible track record. I mean, he's so experienced because of the great cinema and TV he's done and made it all look and feel so incredibly authentic. He makes you feel unrestrained and comfortable. He gives you the right portion of freedom to create your character and bring a lot to the character, but then he also exactly knows what he wants. And there's little indication, but whenever he says something, it makes total sense. I never doubted. Not a second. He has an eagle eye, and he would always know if there's something wrong. Of course, I was a bit nervous the very first day I met Bradley, because my friend said, "Oh, Bradley Cooper," and knowing what our relationship would be like in the film, I thought like, well, hopefully I'm gonna like him, and hopefully he's gonna like me, and we'll get on. And after the first scene, we already, joked and had a very good time, and it has become even better now. He's crazy weird in a good way. I mean, he's an obsessive, as I say to him in one moment, because later in that film we share the same psychologist, and my psychologist said to me about him that he has a obsessive compulsive disorder, and that's true. I mean, and most of these chefs are crazy. You have to be crazy and obsessive, because otherwise you won't make it. You won't become a 1, 2, or 3 Michelin star chef. In the kitchen, people are yelling at each other, and it's all so it couldn't be more different. This contrast of the hectic and craziness in the kitchen, and then this silence and the perfection in the restaurant itself. The character that Bradley plays is a chef who is keen on creating dishes and make food which tastes like good food, meaning this fashion in cuisine to make it more experimental and crazier and crazier with molecular, how do you say, molecular, yeah, cuisine. It all has come to a point in which you and even I say that's over the top, because it has nothing to do with the actual product. So the film deals with the philosophy of these different chefs, of the ones who say, let's go back to the roots, let's celebrate the product and using good product, and then the other ones who are like chemists and so that's an interesting aspect.